Hey, hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back. Welcome back to Cycling Through Your Life. This is episode 3. And the responses are building. People are leaving comments. And I'm crawling. And getting subscriptions, which is good, and people seem encouraging and supportive, which is great. As I said, we are small but we're mighty. We're small but we're mighty. So today, on my way here, I was walking towards my spot up here, and there's a man was walking opposite direction, and you know these people when you see them. It's the middle of the summer, but they got on like 3 layers plus like a down jacket on, and it's all zipped up, and he's walking. And when this happens, of course you got to expect anything, because you don't know, you could be the guy for this guy, you could be the one that sets him off. But anyway, he stops and he looks at me and he said, "Go ahead, navigator. Go ahead, navigator." I said, "All right." I said, "Okay." I said, "Okay, I'll take that. So, my name is Ken Taylor, the navigator. And, I think I like that. At least for today. So, I was thinking, about getting old and aging, and I said to myself, like, why do we have to get old? I mean, we can get old, but why do we have to feel old? Like, what's going on with that? So I kind of looked it up, and I'll put some of the definitions up, probably edit it in or whatever, but it has to do with biological degradation and environmental situations. So what they're saying is that over time your biology begins to wear down, and a lot of times what's causing this deterioration is the environment that you put yourself in, or what you do on a day-to-day basis. So also, things you can do to combat aging, you don't really combat it, but kind of keep it at bay, is to exercise, to stay elastic, stretch, make sure you take care of your skin, don't get too much sun. They say about black folks that the sun ain't gonna bother us. The sun will bother you if it's overly done. Because you see, even in Africa where they're in the sun, they covered up. They got their shit covered up. But anyway, so yeah, that's the thing, man. And the other what I intended to talk about today was, as you get old, things start to hurt. And we're talking about pain, right? When I was younger, and I would see how older people move, like people in their 60s and 70s or even 50s back then, they didn't move like I moved. It took them a long time to get up, or to sit down, or even to turn, or they even be stuck in a certain position, and I'd be like, wow, how the hell that happened, right? And then as I got older, I realized that the reason why they were making those kind of moves is because they were in pain. The pain was preventing them from making the kind of moves that their mind was telling them that they could move or should move, right? So what I've found out as I'm getting older is that pain management becomes a very crucial thing. Because younger, when you used to fall down, you used to get right up, everything was cool, no problem. Down you fall down, it's like, yeah. I was recently in Costa Rica, and I was riding the ATV for the first time. I'm not going to get into the whole story, but I got crashed into by the guy behind me as we were coming down a hill. The people in front of me were slowing down and stopping, and he said he jumped in one of these divots up in the mountains in the jungle type of situation, and his ATV just shot forward, and he was so close to me that he basically knocked the hell out of me. Knocked my ATV this way, I went that way, I was on the ground. 72 years old. So I'm laying there, and you know, the guys, the instructors or the people in charge, they come over running and they looking, and I'm laying there and they ask me, are you okay? Are you alright? And I'm like, I don't know. But it turns out I was okay. I was alright. Just a few scratches and some pain. Just a little pain, you know. Well, not a little, but it was pain. Falling down like somebody hit me in the back with a damn baseball bat, but you know, I got through it. No broken bones, you know, just a little embarrassment. So as I got older though, things would just start to hurt for no reason. Like I would get a pain in my ankle, just like a random pain. Like, you know, there's a little guy there with a ice pick, and he's stabbing me in my ankle. Just bam! Oh, I'm like, oh, what's that? And then it'll just go away. So, and then when I ride now, like if I haven't ridden in like a month or a couple of weeks or whatever, or when I start riding in the summertime, it takes me a full maybe 3 or 4 days for my butt to stop hurting when I get on my bike, and my legs to just kind of, you know, get used to the fact that, you know, we're doing some work right now, and the muscles, you know. So it's this pain management, you know. I mean, and as I was getting older, as I am getting older, I would start to get random pains, like, bam, like, ooh, like, ee, like what, like, oh man, and I, you know, this is it. So cellular degradation, I guess that's happening, and environmental situations, that's definitely happening. I live in New York. The atmosphere, the air, the pollution is horrible. The food is questionable. Even if you try to eat healthy, organic, or less meat or all of that stuff, you don't even know what you're eating actually. All you're doing is trusting that the organic label is real. That's it. You know, water, we don't know with the fluoride. I mean, there's so much to navigate and to try to understand. And these things that you're taking into your body are breaking you down. You know, you're not as elastic as you used to be. Your arthritis, you know, it's actually things growing, like, not growing, but calcifying in your bones. It's making it hard, and when you move, it doesn't, it's not elastic, it just hurts, you know. And these things start happening. And the other thing is your work environment. Because I know, like I said, I was a bus operator, and almost every bus driver I know that's been on the job for a while has knee problems because you're stomping on that brake. People don't know. Every time a bus pulls into a bus stop, the bus driver has to push the brake 1, 2, 4 times. And if you're driving from one end of the route to the other, and you're pulling into every bus stop, and you have to hit the brake, you have to stop the bus, You got to open the back door with an interlocking thing that opens the back door. Then you got to close the back door. Same, hit the brake again. So that's 3 times. Okay. And then you take off. So you ever wonder why the bus driver doesn't want to open the back door all the time? Because his freaking knee is killing him. But that's a whole other thing. But that's pain. And there's also back pain. People who sit all day at desks, you know, and they these things, they come at you slowly, and before you know it, your back is stiff. You're starting to get back pain, and of course, a lot of times your diet is not right, and because you're working, you're not moving as much as you used to, and these things accumulate and add to painful situations sometimes. And so there's topical ways of managing pain, and there's internal ways of managing pain, right? The internal ways I think of managing pain is to be active, to stretch, to keep your body supple, you know, touch your toes, walk around, twist, you know, and try to combat some of this sedentary habits that we have gotten into. Or, you know, you can't be running around at your desk, definitely, but you know, you have to sit there and do what you have to do. And the other thing is topical things, right? I'll put some stuff up, but I've been using CBD oils and CBD creams for my my joints, especially when I ride or after I ride. I'll put some of that on, and it helps. And a friend of mine turned me on to this Chinese thing. Comes in a little tiny bottle, and you rub it on whatever hurts, usually a joint, a muscle, whatever. And sure enough, man, within 10-15 minutes, that thing works. I don't think it's a permanent solution. Whatever's in that bottle, who knows? But it works. I'll put that up too, so people can see. But so there's that pain, you know, and it's so, it creeps and it moves so slowly that sometimes if you're not aware, or if you're distracted, or if you got a lot of things going on in your life, you don't even notice it until one day, you know, you'd be like, oh man, my knee is killing me. You know, or, you know, my back, what the hell happened, you know? Or you do an activity that you've always done, like lift up some chairs or something, you know, like you're helping somebody out, and they say, come on, could you move that box over here for me? And it's a box that you've, it's a weight that you've managed before, so you don't even think about it. You just go pick it up. And next thing you know, you got a back problem. You know, so it's, you know, it's something to consider, this pain and pain management. And of course, you know, there's aspirins and, you know, the other things, all the purins, Excedrins, all that stuff. Pills that you could take over the counter to give you that temporary relief. But I think a more permanent situation or relief would be to move around, stretch. Not a lot, but enough to minimize or mitigate some of that pain. Now the other pain that older people have is emotional pain, right? That's the one we don't even want to talk about. We won't talk about that one. People get hurt, and when you get hurt, you suffer pain. And it's not scars, you know, it's not a bump that can be seen with the eye, but it hurts. Disappointment, heartbreak, you know, things that happen in your life, you know, that you say, wow, why did that happen to me? But Everybody goes through it. Everybody has emotional pain in their life. And the fact that it really can't be seen or it's not obvious, it works on people. It works on them differently. You know the saying, hurt people hurt people. Some people feel like, I believe that people that hurt people emotionally, we let this New York City cop go by, whatever. Ambulance. Yeah, that's probably somebody in pain right there. Somebody suffering pain. Somebody in need of help. Emergency help. This pain has got too crazy. I think I'm dying or something. But yeah, they say hurt people, right? I don't think people who are hurt really hurt. They don't set out. I mean, their conscious mind, maybe some, who knows? Maybe some do, like, I'm gonna hurt this person. They deserve it, But I think it's kind of a protection thing. They're trying to protect themselves, They're trying to ward off another attack, emotional attack. So the best defense is an offense. So let me get this person before they get me, because I know, right? And these pains, these little slights or things, they act like, it's kind of like an arthritis, right? It just grows in that joint, in that emotional connection or that emotional pathway, and it grows and it sticks there, and because you don't stretch it out, or you don't air it out, or you don't exercise it out, like in exorcism. You don't exercise it out. It stays there and it just gets worse. Just like arthritis. You don't do nothing to it, it's just going to hurt more and more until it stops that joint from working completely. And on the emotional side of things, that has happened to people. I've seen that. And they call that being bitter. I guess you're being bitter. You're bitter. So everybody gets it. Everybody gets it. You come around me, you're going to get it, right? Because I am bitter. That just means your arthritis, your emotional arthritis has gotten to the point where all you see or feel is pain or potential painful situations, So another thing that's kind of big now that I don't even understand is like people saying that you disrespected me, man. You disrespected me. So, I gotta punch you in the face or something. So that's like somebody just touching a painful spot. Or, you don't see me as a human. So I feel disrespected. Totally subjective. And it has to do with the person. Some person you'll let say anything to you and you won't feel disrespected at all. So it's all situational, emotional, and really disturbing a past painful situation. And the longer you live, the more these situations and conditions, they begin to accumulate. So I think that's part of the aging process too, right? And part of the countermeasure is to find ways to deal with that, to be active. That's where cycling through comes in, to be active and to move and to partake, You see, you hear these stories of people who have gone through horrific accidents, horrific things have happened to them, emotionally, physically. And there's always, not always, but a lot of these stories that they project is that one of overcoming, of not letting their physical situation prevent them from, doing what they really want to do, like the one-legged guy who runs the marathon, or the woman that's been abused and she comes back and she opens a whole center for abused women or something, and she's just this, or she appears to be this paragon of strength and morality and just forthrightness, and it attracts people with pain towards her, and she's able to kind of put a salve on it or help them get that pain out. And just people who see people are born into physically disadvantaged situations, and they overcome at to a level that people who don't have these challenges, people that don't have these challenges don't ascend to the level that these people do, and it's lessons for us who are not impaired like that, to say, look, man, I can do it, I will do it, So yeah, that's what's on my mind today. So homeboy called me the navigator, so I be navigating and shit, that's what I be doing. But yeah, so that's the deal for today. We'll call it Cycling Through the Pain Edition. Who knows? Yeah, we call it Cycling Through the Pain Edition. And I just want to thank everybody that have left a comment and that liked the page and that has been encouraging me. Please share this with people. I know if you come this far, then either you got a lot of patience or you kind of like what you're hearing. So yeah, please like the page, please share it. That's very important for the thing. Trying to get up to 100 subscribers. Yeah, I'm gonna put it out there. I'm trying to get 100 subscribers by the end of August. That's a modest goal. So yeah, let's get to 100, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.